If you're struggling with belly fat, brain fog, or low energy, it might be because you're using olive oil completely wrong. Most people are wasting its fat-burning, cortisol-killing, age-reversing power, and they have no clue. But if you drink it like this, with the right timing, food pairings, and type, you could melt stubborn fat and flip your body into healing mode in just one day. This changes everything you thought you knew about olive oil, and it could change your life. Most people think olive oil is just something you drizzle on your salad or cook with occasionally. But when you use it the wrong way, you're completely wasting one of the most powerful metabolic medicines in the world. Today I'm going to show you the best way to drink olive oil for fat loss, how it kills cortisol, plus my exact olive oil protocol. Look, olive oil turns on your fat-burning hormones and genes. Literally, human studies show that extra virgin olive oil activates PPAR-alpha. This is a gene that increases fat oxidation, which is fat burning, ketone production, mitochondrial function, and it lowers triglycerides. This is why we hear about the Mediterranean diets and Mediterranean populations eating high-fat olive oil and staying lean. Olive oil lowers your fat storage hormone insulin, even with a meal. Look, if your goal is to burn fat and pull fat from your organs like the visceral fat, the number one goal is to lower insulin. Enter olive oil. A 2015 study in diabetes care found that extra virgin olive oil reduces post-meal glucose and insulin by improving GLP-1 and slowing gastric emptying. Yeah, that's right. You get the benefits of Ozempic without the side effects. This translates into fewer glucose spikes, less insulin, so less fat storage, and less hunger later, and your body gets into a fat-burning state much quicker. Let's talk about cortisol. Cortisol is called the stress hormone. A lot of people have high levels of cortisol. There's something called the cortisol belly. It is the truth because your belly fat, especially the visceral fat, the fat around your organs, that is the most inflammatory fat on your body that applies pressure to your kidneys, your heart, your pancreas, your liver. There are twice as many receptor sites in your visceral fat for cortisol than other areas of your body. So yes, the cortisol belly is the real thing. It disrupts fat burning. It destroys your sleep. You wake up wired in the middle of the night. Okay, what can you do about it? Well, oleic acid and the polyphenols in the right type of olive oil, which I'll share with you how to find the right type later, blunts cortisol output through improved HPA axis regulation. What does that mean? Well, your brain, which is called a part of your brain called the hypothalamus pituitary, communicates with your adrenals. It's called the HPA axis. High quality olive oil helps this communication. It also helps you lower inflammation at a cell level and increases vagal tone, which is your parasympathetic nervous system, rest, digest, detoxification. One study showed high polyphenol olive oil lowered cortisol markers within hours. Let's discuss inflammation. There is acute inflammation, like a sprained ankle or maybe soreness from a workout. That's not necessarily bad inflammation. There's good types of inflammation. That could be one of them. The bad inflammation is called chronic cell inflammation. This is a type of low-grade inflammation that blocks your fat-burning hormones, blocks your energy-producing hormones, and then you get symptoms. So the name of the game is to lower chronic inflammation. Well, olive oil shuts down inflammation at the cellular level. There's a polyphenol in olive oil called oleocanthols, and it's not found in all olive oils. It's found in the right type, but it works like ibuprofen for something called COX enzymes without the side effects. So it lowers inflammation as soon as you consume it, like ibuprofen might do, but your liver doesn't have to metabolize it and there are no side effects. Much better than ibuprofen. So inflammation drops right away. Insulin receptor sites open up and now could hear the message of insulin, and fat burning gets turned on. One of the coolest things that I've discovered when it comes to the right olive oil is that the oleocanthols in the right olive oil activates autophagy within your brain cells. You may or may not have heard me discuss autophagy before. In a nutshell, autophagy is a cellular cleanup process. You see, you have cells in your body right now and mitochondria, these little battery packs that have expiration dates on them. And if you're not activating autophagy, these cells and mitochondria, they become inflamed, meaning they're not producing energy as efficiently. They're not hearing your fat-burning hormones and burning fat efficiently. Autophagy is like Pac-Man, seeking out those cells, fixing them, cleaning them up so they burn fat, produce energy. And we have these cells in our brain cells, and you could actually turn on autophagy within the brain with the right olive oil. Very, very cool. But it's important that you understand not all olive oil is created equal. Here are the shocking mistakes people make with olive oil. You see, most people unknowingly destroy the fat-burning powers and healing powers of olive oil. So let's go through some of the mistakes people make. The first mistake is using bad olive oil. A lot of the olive oil out there could be fake. It's estimated that about up to 70% of the olive oil on the shelves are oxidized, they're adulterated. Sometimes they're cut with seed oils or they're mislabeled. If you happen to buy an olive oil that's cut, this oxidized oil actually increases inflammation, increases weight gain, liver stress, and creates hormone disruption. So in a minute, I'll share with you the brand that I trust and use all the time, so you know you're getting a clean, safe product. But let's talk about the next mistake. The next mistake is thinking that you cannot cook with olive oil. There's a misconception out there that we only look at smoke point, and if it has a lower smoke point, you should not cook with it. Now, in general, there is some truth there, but I gotta share with you a really interesting study that really debunks this notion, and it makes this notion false. Okay, olive oil has a moderate smoke point. It's not high, it's not too low. It's true. But there's a study that came out in New Zealand that actually looked at 8 of the most popular oils that were tested to see which one is the healthiest, best for cooking. So you can see for those watching on YouTube, but I'll explain it for those listening on the podcast, there were 8 oils tested. Extra virgin olive oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil, and canola oil. What was interesting about this study, they did 2 trials. Trial 1 gradually heated each 8 of these oils to 464 degrees Fahrenheit, which was 240 degrees Celsius. Pretty high temperature. Trial 2 deep fried each of these 8 oils at 356 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius, and it fried these oils for 6 hours. They looked at 2 key metrics to determine which was the healthiest. The first one was something called oxidative stability. Now, of course, we want our oils to be stable. And if you are watching on YouTube, you can see the graph here. The oil that scored the best in terms of stability was obviously a saturated fat called coconut oil. Surprisingly, peanut oil was the second most stable, followed by extra virgin olive oil, number 3, virgin olive oil, number 4, olive oil, number 5, and then the worst one out there when they looked at oxidative stability was grapeseed oil, rice bran oil, and sunflower oil. That's something to look at. Coconut oil scored very high there, but let's look at the second thing they looked at, which was the most important metric, and this metric was something called polar compounds. The more polar compounds an oil produces after being heated, the more inflammatory that oil is. These are potentially carcinogenic, cancer-causing. So we want an oil that produces the least amount of polar compounds. Okay, what did the study reveal when it looked at all 8 of these oils, 2 different trials? Check this out. The oil that produced the most amount of these harmful inflammatory polar compounds was grapeseed oil, followed by canola oil, second worst. Rice bran oil was the third worst. Sunflower oil was the fourth worst. Okay, which oil scored the best, the least amount of polar compounds? Extra virgin olive oil, followed by coconut oil. All right, this means that you can actually cook with olive oil if it's real, organic, first harvest, cold pressed olive oil. The reason why it scored such a low amount of polar compounds is because it was protected by polyphenols. So even if you cook with it, you will be safe if it's real olive oil. Now, which is the olive oil I use? I use a company called the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. And look, I reached out to them personally, and they've given my audience, you watching and listening right now, an exclusive offer we have never offered before that you won't find anywhere else. When you buy 2 bottles of fresh pressed olive oil, they're gonna send you a 3rd bottle completely free. It's available in both club sizes, and it's the perfect way to start your olive oil transformation. I'm going to go over a protocol on how to use this the right way, but I wanted to share this with you right now. So you could go to benazadi.com/olive oil or click the second link in the description box below. Or if you're watching on YouTube, grab your phone, grab your camera, and simply scan the QR code on the screen to take advantage of this offer. You'll immediately taste and feel the difference. This is the olive oil that will heal your cells, melt fat, and extend your life. But here's the thing. They only press limited small batches each season. Once it's gone, it's gone. So don't miss out. Click the second link in the description box below or scan the QR code on the screen right now or go to benazadi.com/olive oil to start nourishing your body from the inside out today. Look, the reason why I love this company is because they work with small farmers. It's organic. It's first harvest pressed. Okay, what does that mean? That means this company doesn't care about profit. They care about quality. When an olive oil is first harvest pressed, you get less production, yes, less yield, but it's higher in polyphenols and antioxidants. It's first harvest pressed, it's organic. And here's what I want you to do. You may or may not be considering getting this olive oil. I want you to go to your pantry right now and grab any olive oil you may have. And I want you to do what I'm doing here. It's called the olive oil taste test. I have a little shot glass here, but you can get a tablespoon. And just pour a tablespoon into a shot glass or a spoon and take a shot like I'm doing right here. What you want the olive oil to do, it should make your throat burn, which is it's doing right now. It should make your tongue fuzzy and potentially make you even cough. That means the olive oil is loaded with polyphenols, antioxidants. You want that to burn. It should taste peppery. If your olive oil went down smooth after the taste test, that is a big red flag. All right, let's talk about mistake number 3. And that mistake is taking olive oil at the wrong time. Timing matters for fat burning, cortisol reduction, blood sugar stability, and brain clarity. Most people take olive oil when the body isn't primed. When I go over your protocol, I'll share with you the exact time I want you to take your olive oil and the best way to use it. Mistake number 4 is mixing olive oil with the wrong foods. When you mix olive oil with the wrong foods, it could block the absorption of polyphenols. So now let's discuss the best way to use olive oil for fat loss, hormone balance, and to reduce cortisol. This is where the magic happens. What I want you to do is take 1 to 2 tablespoons of a high quality olive oil, like the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club, first thing in the morning. Fasted before your first meal. This immediately lowers morning cortisol. It improves insulin sensitivity and it signals to your body, hey, we're safe. Go burn fat. You see, morning cortisol usually spikes between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. and olive oil could help blunt that surge. I also want you to pair your olive oil with lemon or apple cider vinegar. This is why this works so effectively. It stimulates liver function to produce bile flow. It improves liver detox. It enhances fat emulsification. And it kickstarts digestion. This is my personal favorite combo. Now, outside of this morning routine, when you're having breakfast or lunch or dinner, I want you to pair your high quality olive oil with high polyphenol vegetables. See, polyphenols work synergistically. So combine your extra virgin olive oil with the following vegetables: arugula, purple cabbage, broccoli, and herbs like rosemary and oregano. This is how you create a high polyphenol fat burn bomb. The 4th way I want you to use your olive oil is right before your largest meal of the day. And for most people, that's usually dinner. A small study found that 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil before a meal reduced glucose spikes by up to 35%, reduced the insulin spike by 20 to 30%, and increased satiety signals. This is incredibly beneficial if you're overweight and insulin resistant. The 5th way, this is optional, but if you struggle with high cortisol at night, in the middle of the night, if you have trouble falling asleep, or if you wake up in the middle of the night wired and tired, here's how I want you to use olive oil. See, olive oil increases tryptophan transport, which boosts serotonin, and then your sleep hormone and antioxidant hormone, melatonin. This is why a small dose before sleep, before bed, can do the following: lower nighttime snacking, improve deep sleep, and support overnight fat burning. Another option is if you wake up at 3 a.m., take a shot of olive oil as well. It could help you get back to bed by buffering cortisol. So what makes olive oil high performance? Look, you want an olive oil that hits these following metrics. It should have a high polyphenol count. The more the polyphenols, like a first harvest pressed, like the Fresh pressed olive oil club, better for fat burning, lower in inflammation. It's going to lower inflammation more, and there's more metabolic benefits. You want it to be early harvest, cold pressed. That, as I mentioned, maximizes antioxidants. Cheaper oils skip this because they get more yield. You want to make sure your olive oil is a single source, not blended. Blended oils often mix seed oils. Fresh pressed olive oil club comes from a single source each time. You want to make sure the olive oil is fresh. How do you know? Do the taste test. It should burn your throat. You want to make sure that olive oil is in a dark glass bottle, like the one I'm holding up here from the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. Dark glass, not plastic or clear, because light destroys polyphenols and the plastic leaches into the fat. It's exactly why I use and recommend the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club. I've been using them exclusively as my go-to olive oil since 2018. Every bottle is early harvest, cold pressed, high polyphenol, shipped fresh, lab tested, flavor rich. They support small family farms. To me, this is the gold standard. And again, I reached out to them personally. You could get a third bottle for free when you buy 2 bottles. This is only for you right now watching and listening to this podcast. Go to benazadi.com/olive oil or click the second link in the description box below or scan the QR code to take advantage of that right now. Now, here's the wrong way people use olive oil. I would not fry with it. I know I gave you the study that it's protected, low in polar compounds, but when you fry with it, it still destroys the polyphenol, so I would not fry with olive oil. I personally use olive oil in my cup of coffee. I'm holding up my cup of coffee that I put a tablespoon of olive oil in. I'll take a shot of it during a fast. It does not break a fast. I'll use it for salad dressings and dips and also sauteing food and sometimes lightly scrambling eggs. I'll use olive oil. So let me give you now your 1-day olive oil fat loss protocol. You ready for this? This is what I promised you at the beginning of the lesson. It's simple and powerful. Use this any day, especially when stressed, inflamed, or retaining water. In the morning, you're going to have 1 tablespoon of fresh pressed olive oil club. You're going to add in 1 to 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. You're going to take a shot of that, and you're going to notice the effects within 20 minutes. Cortisol is lowered, brain fog reduced, bile released, and fat burning is stimulated. And no, this routine, this little recipe does not break your fast. You're still going to be in a fasted state. That's your breakfast routine. Your midday meal, you want to add 2 tablespoons of the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club olive oil in with your arugula, salmon, eggs, avocado, or broccoli or greens. This combination multiplies fat burning. And then before dinner, optional, take 1 tablespoon of your Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club 15 minutes before dinner to reduce the glucose spike, reduce nighttime cravings, and improve digestion. Another optional thing for you to do is to have a shot right before bed or in the middle of the night if you wake up feeling wired and tired. Here's what you're going to notice after the first day of doing this routine. Less bloating, less stress, more stable energy, better bowel movements, reduced cravings, lower appetite, clearer thinking, and better sleep at night. Within a week, you're going to notice a smaller waist, less inflammation, better insulin sensitivity, better skin, better digestion, and faster fat loss. And human research supports all of these mechanisms. So if you're over 40 and you're fighting belly fat, inflammation, stubborn cortisol, olive oil, the right olive oil used the right way, one of the simplest, safest, and most powerful metabolic hacks you can use. But quality matters. So I want you to try this bottle here. It is really hands down the cleanest, best tasting olive oil you will ever try. Go to benazadi.com/olive oil or click the second link in the description box below. Scan the QR code on the screen. Hey, I want to give you a free resource here before I answer your questions on this topic. Look, this is really important. If your belly fat hasn't moved in months, even though you've been doing everything right, it's really not your fault. You've been lied to. The real problem, visceral fat, insulin resistance, metabolic dysfunction, and no one's shown you how to fix it until right now. This free 7-day guide flips your fat burning switch on with 0 calorie counting, 0 guesswork, and meals so simple it feels like you're cheating. This is your body's reset button. If you're sick of starting over, click the first link in the description box below or scan the QR code on the screen right now and take back control. This isn't a diet. It's the last one you'll ever need. Now let's get to your questions. How many tablespoons of olive oil do I actually need to drink for the effect you described? At least 1 tablespoon per day, but the protocol I gave you could be up to 3 to 4 tablespoons per day. But at least 1 tablespoon per day, you'll benefit from the effects of the right type of olive oil. If I'm already on a low-carb ketogenic diet, is this still relevant? Yeah. Cool thing about olive oil, it's low-carb, it's keto-friendly, it's all fat. There's no carbs or protein, so it fits right into a ketogenic low-carb diet. Will drinking olive oil cause weight gain since it's calorie-dense? No. Weight gain is not about calories, it's about inflammation and insulin. Olive oil does not raise insulin, and olive oil lowers inflammation. So it actually sounds counterintuitive. Although you're getting calories, it actually is helping you burn fat. Will this also improve brain fog and low energy? And if so, what's the mechanism? Yes, the mechanism is this. We have mitochondria within every single cell, and the brain has the most mitochondria. As I mentioned earlier, there's a process called autophagy, and I didn't mention this. There's also a process called mitophagy that gets activated with high quality olive oil. So you're getting kind of Pac-Man going within your brain, cleaning out the junk, regenerating those cells, helping those cells produce more energy. And it really does help with mental clarity, brain fog, and energy. And you should notice a huge difference within a week of following the protocol I outlined today. That's your protocol. Go get your free bottle of the Fresh Press Olive Oil Club, benazadi.com/olive oil, or click the second link in the description box below. Share this with somebody you know. Do the protocol, come back, let me know how it goes for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And hey, if you love this lesson, you got to watch a video I just published. It was a keynote I did on why I believe doctors lied. This is why you still can't burn belly fat. It's not what you think. Here's a clip from that keynote. Click the video on the screen and I'll see you in that next lesson.
Obesity is a big topic these days because Harvard put out a paper a couple of years ago, 5 years, 2030. 50% of the population in the US will be obese. If we ask most people, they will tell you that it's because of our genetics. These stats that I gave you on heart disease, cancer, autism, it's because of genetics. As a matter of fact, there was even